Hey guys, what's going on? Okay, so I don't think that everybody is really understanding the gravity of what's going on in Venezuela, how much it impacts so many of us, and actually essentially just why I don't understand why people aren't open to understanding what's really going on there. Because most people realize that the mainstream media is, they push an agenda. But yet, when it comes to Venezuela, everybody thinks that they are just these socialist, dictatorship, crazy, I don't know. And I mean, I understand why people feel that way. It's because we've been pushed by the media that way. But even whenever I explain it to people, they're still like, oh no, that's not what's going on. Or I'll have like somebody that says they're from Venezuela or Brazil or Colombia in my comments to say, oh, that's crazy, it really is this and this and that. Okay, so this is very important because right now Mike Pompeo is down there and meeting with Ivan Duque and Bolsonaro, which, who else just met with him? Who was at his inauguration? Well, Bibi Netanyahu. Shocking, right? I mean, I'm sure some of y'all can already see where this is gonna go just by saying that. I mean, they weren't ever like on the same. It's very strange, and that just shows that Bolsonaro was 100% put in as their little puppet. Ivan Duque also, but and so you need to understand how crazy this is, because Brazil is the second biggest military, only to us, well, in the Western Hemisphere. But then we have, Colombia, which we're still giving tons of aid to, foreign aid to all of these countries. Venezuela's never gotten foreign aid, well, at least not since the 60s, because of their oil, their gold, their coltan, their agriculture. They are a very rich nation, but we collapsed their economy. Socialism did not collapse their economy. If socialism collapsed their economy, it would have happened a long time ago, because before Hugo Chavez was poisoned, died suddenly of cancer, so they've been this socialist, as people want to say, since the 90s. And Maduro didn't change anything. They've been, what they are, I like to say nationalists because people understand what that means more, but they are legitimately, social democrat, or not democrat, social democracy. They have a real social democracy, where what that means is for the people, by the people. The states have more rights than the national level, which does not happen here. If it was a dictator, why would he want the states to have more power? That doesn't make any sense. Just look at why is CNN, MSNBC, and Fox all parroting the same thing. Venezuela is this crazy place. They have 100,000 people fleeing. Yet they don't remind you that 5 to 6 million people fled Colombia and still flees Colombia because of the drugs. And where did they go? Into Venezuela. Venezuela took them with open arms, gave them jobs, gave them a citizenship essentially, and took care of them. Not just with handouts, because that's what I understand, that's here in the United States, we feel socialism is just handouts. It's not what it is. I mean, we all understand that our government is very wasteful with our money, besides for the fact of giving it to all of these other nations, right? But the main thing is they just lose trillions of dollars and nobody knows where they went because they're doing stupid crap with it. They're pocketing it, they're doing this with it, they're doing that with it. But in a social democracy, it's for the people. The resources go towards the people's things. If we didn't have all this corruption, and like many other countries, because of how they're ran, we wouldn't have all of these issues. If they used the money legitimately, we wouldn't have to pay for health care. We wouldn't. And it wouldn't be considered a handout. It just would be a right. And I know people automatically hear those things and they're like, oh my gosh, you've become a socialist. No. Why would you not want something that your government can afford? When we are paying taxes, don't we deserve to have nice roads? Don't we deserve to have, even housing, food, if that's what it is, whatever the case, if that's what we're putting into the government for, shouldn't we receive that back rather than it being pocketed by some unknown corporation? Look at the corporate subsidies. When people hear this, it's because they've brainwashed you to think socialism is crazy because they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know how, I'm not saying socialism, I'm saying like how Venezuela's system is. And then I'm going to explain what happened. Again, I'm going to explain it because still people don't understand it. We are not energy independent, and I'm going to explain that also. So, we put into the system all of our lives, and most of us probably won't even have Social Security because of how they have mismanaged our funds and what they've done. And is Venezuela perfect? Absolutely not. They had corrupt people in their government too. They're not perfect. Yes, people are starving. Are there dead bodies all over the street? No. That's crazy. And so the news has to keep coming up with these same old stories. It's funny, they BBC reposted a story from like 2015 and made it look like it was from now, but it was saying President Obama in it, so it was obviously an old video. It was hilarious. And then I ended up finding it was the same video from 2015 because they want you to think that, oh my gosh, we need to go in there for humanitarian aid. And no, they want to go in there for their gold, their coltan, their oil. Did I say that? Gold, yeah, their oil and their agriculture. They also, they banned GMOs. Sure did. Banned GMOs. How many of us want to ban GMOs? All of us. And they did it. Okay, now let's get on with the short version of why and how they collapsed. There's a lot of moving parts to it, but I'm going to give you the simplest version to where this stuff is already happening. They're putting ships out there. They're threatening them. So you understand what's actually going on rather than how we've done with Iraq, Afghanistan. And we don't understand until years later, and it's like, holy crap, that's why we were there? I thought we were there for this. Okay, so let me just simply put it. Okay, we are not energy independent. People are gonna say, no, yes, we're the biggest exporters of oil. Yeah, we are. We sure are. We're also the biggest importers of oil. Well, China, we kind of compete with China. But for the biggest exporters of oil, how come we are the biggest importers of oil? Because our oil companies belong to private corporations. In all other OPEC countries, we are not an OPEC country. We just try to be, and we do that by overthrowing other countries. That's not funny, but it's sad. But so whenever you say Saudi Arabian oil, Venezuelan oil, that really means that. It really is their oil. So the people get the benefit from it. Yeah, the workers get paid. All this happens. Same. The only thing is, it's not lining the pockets of 5, 10, 20 CEOs and the Rockefellers and the these and the, you know. It's actually going towards building 2.5 million homes for a country of 30 million people. And their goal is actually 5 or 6 million. And in this economic collapse, they're still building these homes. And we're still receiving their oil. So anyway, we don't own our oil. Private companies do. And they just export it all. We get nothing from it, essentially, except jobs. Okay, so what happened in 2015 was that we lifted the ban on exporting our oil. We used to not be able to export our oil because we wanted to become energy independent. But the oil companies didn't want that. I mean, they couldn't have any of that. So kind of on the sly, what they did was they lifted that oil ban in 2015 and flooded the market with oil. All the OPEC companies wanted to firm it up, meaning stop so much production, and all the OPEC countries, all of them except Saudi Arabia, agreed, and they were like, we need to firm up the oil prices so this doesn't happen. What did the US and Saudi Arabia do? Put the pedal to the metal and flooded it even more. And instead of us throwing somebody else under the bus, which I don't agree we should have thrown anybody under the bus, what we did was we threw Venezuela under the bus because they didn't like Maduro. I mean, they've tried to assassinate him like many times already because they don't want him there, because they don't want you to know what's really going on down there. If you go look for journalists in Venezuela, it is so hard to get any actual non-biased information. They've shut down the Empire Files. They've shut down, RT is pretty much the only ones that we can get some information. Most of it's in Spanish. I translate it with a program to where I can read it or whatever. But of course there's hardships there, but we did that. How come let me ask you this, if it legitimately was this crazy dictator that he's starving his people, he's not letting them eat, all of this stuff, why would we sanction them? Who is that hurting? It's only hurting the people. So let's just pretend that that's what happened. It's only hurting the people, and then they're gonna report about it like, oh, all these people are starving and all of this is happening. This is so sad. That sucks. They're not getting their stuff. Too bad, right? Why would they even publicize that? The only reason they would publicize it is because of the fact they're trying to run a psychological operation on you to think that we need to actually go in there and help. But no, what do? Obama put sanctions on them. And then our current administration put more sanctions on them. They are not with the globalist bankers, those people. That's the big deal. They refuse to bow the knee to them. And they are the ones that are standing up for actual sovereignty. All this crap that people are talking online, oh, well, I'm standing up for my country and I'm going to do this. They're actually doing it. They're actually we know we're going to have hardships, but we're learning to grow our own food and we're going to trade amongst each other. Here, they're making it illegal to get water from the rain. Grow your own organic food. I mean, that's legitimately happening here. So how's that? You have to see it. But yet we have Colombia, where they have already murdered, since Ivan Duque has been in, which has been less than 5 months, has murdered 86 social, what are they called? Social administrators, people that speak out in the community and stuff like that. Anybody that opposes him, essentially. That's crazy. And journalists and all of these people. That is absolutely insane. And Bolsonaro is doing the same thing. So, long story short, we have Mike Pompeo down there, and he's like, yep, let's put some more pressure on Venezuela with Bolsonaro. That's gonna be awesome. Okay, people don't understand what the right really means down there. The right here, we're just moderate, wanting to be happy people, not having agendas pushed on us. The right over there are legitimately extremist. And also their left-right is not the same as ours. But people still are confused about that. Oh, that's like, oh, look, Ivan Duque. You know, all Colombia got Ivan Duque. He's a right-wing guy, like Trump, okay? Really? Really? Is that what happened? His approval rating went from 80% to 27% in 2 months. 2 months. Obviously, those were doctored numbers, but they're still at 27%. And they are rioting in the streets to get rid of him. He's only been in there for like 4 months. I have a feeling that's exactly what's going to happen with Bolsonaro when people wake up to his military dictatorship. I mean, he's like enforcing some pretty crazy stuff. And it's not like here where it's like, oh, they're not going to just come around and shoot you. Yeah, that's kind of what they're doing. I mean, that is what they're doing. And for everywhere, somebody asked, oh, where's your evidence? Where's the link to the articles? I'm not being rude, but this is how I do things. I mean, sometimes I'll put articles in there, but it's super simple, guys. All you have to do is go to Google, go to DuckDuckGo, go to YouTube, whatever your search engine of choice is, and put in, like I put when I talked about the 128 sharpshooters that they were putting out on the streets, that Bolsonaro was putting out on the streets. Where's that information? All you had to do was Google exactly what I said. You would have found the article. Whenever I say things, you know, unless I say, well, my sources told me or something like that, but all of this stuff, it's open source intelligence. You just have to dig for it. And you have to sometimes, it's like a puzzle. You have to put the things together to make it. Well, looks like no matter what, they just refuse to do anything correct. Now they want to, I mean, they've been wanting to do it. They're trying to overthrow this man in front of his face. Could you even imagine? This is absolutely insane. So, it looks like we will be trying to invade them very soon. This is absolutely insane. And I had a feeling this is why they were pulling people out of Syria. Stay tuned, guys. I'll do another video about this. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching.